So I am starting to record the session as well so that can be available to you guys. Okay. All right. So that's what we're going to be going through today. That's just a brief look at our agenda. Those are the various different items that we'll cover. It will be focused on internal audit, but we will look at some other parts of BarnOwl as well. Some of the changes linked through to risk management and the server management console. So we will touch on that as well as we go through the session. All right. We will have a look at your questions. Like I mentioned earlier, Jurgens will be keeping an eye on that as well. And any questions that are specific to your data or your work environment, we will be able to provide feedback to you after consulting with your account manager. If you do have any technical questions, we can then provide feedback to you with regards to that as well after consulting with our technical resource. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so we are going to focus on what's new for internal audit and look at the general changes as well made in version 10. We're going to be focusing on the major notable changes, but BarnOwl also goes through various stability and performance enhancements with each new version. So the first change that we're going to be looking at to get started, I'm first going to log on to my BarnOwl Ridge app. So you should all be familiar with this app. As you must all have risk licenses or you must have seen it before. You can access internal audit through the shortcut on your main login page over here, or you can access it via risk management, which is what I'm going to be doing because I will then cross over to internal audit a little bit later. Okay, so I'm just going to log into that. One of the main changes made to BarnOwl is having controls that are linked only to contributing factors now being available in internal audit. So this change was made in version 10.3, but I'm going to be starting off with it because I will be demoing this in risk management before moving over to the internal audit module. So this is your risk management landing page, okay? So you will see your org structure over here. And this is your usual org structure. I've created a unit over here called Jade's Internal Audit Unit. And this is the unit that I'll be using to demonstrate the change. Okay, so I'm just going to go to my unit over there. And then I will go to View and I will view my risk register. Okay, when I go to my risk register, you can see that when I expand this over here, I have a contributing factor linked to my risk. I also have a control linked to my risk, but linked to my contributing factor, I've also got a control. Okay, so this is going to show you how previously you were unable to see any controls that are directly linked only to contributing factors in internal audit, but that is the change that was made, and you'll now be able to see how that is reflected. Okay, so that is the structure that I've added just to demonstrate this to you, my contributing factors and my risks. So the first thing worth noting is that you cannot link the control that is already linked to the contributing factor directly to the risk. So here's my risk and here is my control, but this control is linked to the contributing factor. It's not linked to the risk. So I am unable to link the same control directly to this risk. If I go to the risk and I right click on it, and then I say that I would like to create /link, as you would to link any item like a control to the risk, and then I will click on it, control to risk, you will see that it will display a lock over here. This is because the control is indirectly linked to the risk already. Being linked to the contributing factor, which is linked to the risk, it's indirectly linked to the risk already. Okay, so that's the reason why it displays a lock, because I can't link it to the risk because of the fact that it's linked to the contributing factor. All right, so in order to link the control directly to the risk, if you'd like to move it from the contributing factor, or if you had linked it to the contributing factor and not the risk in error, you'd need to go to the contributing factor over here and right click, then say that you would like to create /link, a control to the contributing factor, because we're busy with the control, and then you would click on that. Okay, you'll then see that that same control over there, the one that's linked to the contributing factor, which is the constant staff happiness surveys control, you'll see that it's listed over here without a lock. Okay, so you can unlink it from your contributing factor by clicking on the red arrow so that it's no longer linked. And that lock will then disappear, and then you could be able to link it back to your risk. Okay, so the only way to have that lock removed would be to unlink it from the contributing factor by using this red arrow. It'll then no longer be linked to the contributing factor. You can then go back to your risk, say create/link, your control to risk, and then you will be able to select it without it displaying a lock. Okay, so that's just the first thing to note. The second thing is that you can also view the control, which is linked to the contributing factor in your actual risk. Okay, so now you can see your control over there and it's linked to your contributing factor. All right, so you will be able to see it linked to your list, your actual risk. Controls linked to the contributing factor are marked by a CF, which is the abbreviation for contributing factor. So if we double click on our risk over here and we go to our control adequacy, which should open, just a little bit of a delay there. Let's just give it a second. There we go. So there's our risk form over there. If you go to your control adequacy over there, you will see that our controls, both of them, are listed. So we've got that after hours control, which is linked directly to the risk. And then we've got the control, which is constant staff happiness surveys, which is linked to the contributing factor. They're both listed as controls under the control adequacy for the risk. But you will see over here that we've got that CF over here for contributing factor, showing you that this control is actually linked to the contributing factor of the risk. Okay, so that's how you can see it reflected over there in your risk itself, and you can get used to the idea of the CF for contributing factors. Okay, so we are now going to go to internal audit to have a look at the changes over there. You can access your internal audit module from your risk by clicking on File and then going to Internal Audit. Okay, that'll then take you right across to your internal audit landing page. There we go. Okay, so this is your landing page for internal audit. You can see this is your project listing and your different icons over here. If you wanted to have a look at your time and expenses, your different menus or tabs, your process tree, your org structure, resource management, and then this is a list of all of your projects. Okay, so I have created a project for this as well. The Jade's Internal Audit project is a project that is focused on the unit that we just went through, the Jade's Internal Audit unit. Okay, so everything that you see here will be familiar to that unit that we just had a look at risk, and that's because our risk and our internal audit modules do work together. Everything in BarnOwl is fully integrated in order for it to work together nicely. Okay, so the project over here, Jade's Internal Audit project, is based on that unit, the Jade's Internal Audit unit. So by double clicking on this project over here, we'll then be able to open it in the project file organizer so that we can have a look at it a little better. Okay, you'll be able to see over here when I expand my root, I'll just drag this a little more so that you can see this. You will see we've got our after hours control and our constant staff happiness control over here as well. And you will see that it is displayed with the CF, which is the contributing factor, to tell us that this control is linked to the contributing factor, just as we saw in risk. Okay, so by going to your risk register as well, if I click on my risk over there, and I see my risk register, my audit risk register, I can then also find it over here by clicking on the plus signs to expand it, or by just expanding my register. I'll see that that one over here, my controlled constant staff happiness surveys, also reflects in my risk register, and it's also got that CF over there to show you. Okay. So you can see it as well over there in your risk register. You can also see it listed here on your CF. So if I double click on the risk itself, all right, my part of my risk register, the risk itself, you will then see listed under controls, I've got all of my controls again. I've got the after hours one, which is directly linked to the risk. And then I've got my one that is linked to my contributing factor. And it's got the CF for contributing factor next to it again, showing you that it's linked to the contributing factor. All right. Then we have another place that we can also view this. So by looking at your audit objective, which is displayed with this star icon over here in your project file organizer, you can then have your audit objective over here in your audit objective register. If you have a look at it, you can double click on it so that it will open. You can then view it, your different controls by clicking on the risk/control tab and then expanding it over here. Now you will see we've got our control after hours working, which is linked to your risk, and we've got our constant staff happiness survey. Sorry, I'm just gonna make sure that that's muted. So we've got our constant staff happiness surveys with the CF, which is linked directly to the contributing factor, but it's also indirectly linked to your risk. Okay, so that is a nice change that you'll be able to see that has been made to internal audit. And yeah, that change was made in version 10.3. Okay, so now we're going to look at other changes. We're going to look at the changes that were made in version 10.1 with regard to the audit procedure results capture. All right, so I'm just going to close this over here. The audit procedure result capture was redesigned, changing its feel and look. You can access your audit procedure results capture screen by going to your view and then having a look at your audit procedures register. Okay, so you could just go over there and then you could go to your audit procedures register. You could also just select your audit procedure directly in your PFO if you wanted to do that. All right, so I've got an audit procedure over here called Staff After Hours Work Audit, and I'm going to use this one to demonstrate this. Okay, so I will just double click on that so that my audit procedure results capture window opens. Okay, let me just open that over here. All right, so you will now be able to see the audit procedure results capture window. All right, this is the new version where you can then have a look at the different view. As you can see, it looks different from the older version, obviously. You can add samples by clicking on the Add Sample button over here. All right, so these are all the different icons. I will go through them as we're carrying on by having a look at the screen. But the first thing that we could have a look at is adding a sample. So in order to add a sample to your results for your audit procedure, you would just click on the word Add Sample. You then have an option to choose how many samples to add. If you had, so you could choose one or all required samples or add any samples. So the whole idea here is to select how many samples you like, but you could also bear in mind the fact that when you're creating your audit procedure, you do get an option to select a minimal sample limit. So if you say then add all required samples, that is going to be based on the limit that you used when setting this up. Okay, so I'm just clicking on add one sample so that we can have a look at that. You will see that this tick over here says I've met the required number of samples. And that's because when I set up this audit procedure, I said that my minimum samples number is 0. So there wasn't a minimum number that I needed to meet. If I had said 5, for example, I would then get a warning telling me that I haven't reached the minimum number of my samples until I've captured at least 5, and then that warning would go away. Okay, so since I had my minimum set to 0, I don't get any warnings for this. Okay, so this is basically what it will look like after you've then clicked on add a sample. You can also delete a sample by selecting it and then clicking on delete sample. The sample will then be removed. Okay, if you'd like to change the view of how this is looking, you can click on samples as columns, and it will then change the structure of it. Okay, I actually prefer to work in this view than in the other view, but you can just click on it again and it will revert back to the original view that it was in. Okay, so that's entirely up to you. If you wish to edit the audit procedure, you can just click on the audit procedure over here. Okay, so it will show you audit procedure and the name of your audit procedure. Mine is staff after hours work audit. Okay, so you will just click on it. The audit procedure capture screen will then open, and then you could edit it and do whatever you would like, make any changes that you would like to make to it, and then you could click on save and close. So you'll see this is the audit procedure that I set up. I'll just expand it. These were the questions that I'd put in, the default, the title, all of that information, and over there you can see my sample size was set to 0. Okay, so I'm just going to close that over there. All right, so this is the structure that I've done over there. Like we said, you can change the view if you'd like to do that. You can then complete all the details and information by clicking in the cell and populating the information. So that has sample 1. I could change the name if I wanted to put somebody's name in there if I felt I needed to name it, or I could just leave it as sample 1. For example, okay? Then if you'd like to attach a document, you would just click on the word docs. It would open up this form, and you could then attach a document and save it. You can also prepare, review, or sign off your document as well. Then if you had a reference information, you'd put that in, a description, field 1. Then this is your answering section. So you can see your question is displayed over there. And then you've got your answer, your note, your review note, and then you've got your finding. Okay, so if you have a finding linked to it, you will see that item over here will say linked next to it. I previously had a finding linked, and that's why it says 1, but I'll demonstrate this to you. So the question here, for example, is, do you adhere to all safety protocol when working after hours? I have set mine up when creating my audit procedure to say that I want a finding triggered when the answer is equal to 1, which is equivalent to the question no. So if someone says, do you adhere to all safety protocols when working after hours, and the answer that this person provided was no, okay, I've said that I would like that to trigger a finding. Okay, so when I input no over there, it then makes this linked because it's now linked to finding. By clicking on the word finding, it'll then provide me with the information on this finding. So it shows me the finding title, and then it's got the standard, the audit finding, the impact, the root cause, the recommendation, and all the information as populated when I created this audit procedure. Okay, so it will link all that information for you, and it will demonstrate it to you over there. You've then got your tabs for an owner, audit procedure results, which it shows me that the answer was no, and it was no to this particular question. You have your custom field, your review notes, and you can also link an action plan. Okay, so by clicking on the action plan, you could go and click capture by right-clicking in the blank space. You could then select action plan, and you could link an action plan directly to this over here. Okay, so that is basically how you would fill in all of your items over there and how they would then link to a finding if you have set that up when creating your audit procedure. The other options that you do have is to import a sheet. By clicking on import sheet, you could either import results or you could create an import spreadsheet. When you create an import spreadsheet, you could then use that spreadsheet in order to populate information in it for completing your audit procedure results. Okay, so I'm just quickly generating that just so that you can have a look at what that looks like. But it's basically the spreadsheet in BarnOwl format showing you exactly which items need to be completed so that you can then complete these different columns over here with the necessary information. You'll then save it to your desktop or wherever is convenient for you to find it, and then you will import the results into BarnOwl. All right. You've then got an option as well to export your sheet, to export your results from your view over here. You can also view any notes, findings, or review notes over here by clicking on the relevant icon. When you click on the orange speech bubble by findings, okay, it will also show you the automatic findings as per your setup in the questions. So here it was the one with the safety protocol. And if I click on that to expand, it shows me the control that this audit procedure is linked to as well. All right. You can, like we said, you can also capture an action plan as well. And by clicking on analysis, which is over here, you can then view your audit procedure result summary based on your answers. So because I've got one answer completed only, it then shows me over there and it says that those were not answered and the one that replied answered no. So it just demonstrates that for me as well as a chart. Okay. Then we've also got our preparer and reviewer tab over there. If you'd like to prepare or review, you can do that as well. And yeah, that is basically the new audit procedure capture form. So it's really cool, it's really easy to use, and it's obviously better than the older version of this document. Okay, so I'm gonna close that over there. Now, that is basically it for the changes that are specific to internal audit. We're going to now look at other changes that are a little bit more general to BarnOwl, but obviously do impact the internal audit and internal audit users as well. So for the general changes that I mentioned a little bit earlier, the first change has been made to the server management console, and that is in version 10.2. Okay, so I'm going to close this over here. I will exit my internal audit. Okay, and now I'm going to go through to my server management console. You can access your server management console from the front login page when you're logging into your app, into your Rich app, or you could do this by clicking on File and going from File to Server Management Console. Okay, so you can then have a look at Server Management Console from your risk, and I will show you where that change was made. So when we log into our Server Management Console, it automatically takes us to your general setup. If you're not on general setup, in order to view this change, you're going to need to go to general setup. Okay, then from general setup, we're going to go to email setup because this is an email, sorry, this is an email related change. Okay, so you will see that in this section, all right, this is where the change comes. So the change that was made in version 10.2 is that you now have the option to turn off all BarnOwl emails. All right, so originally you did have an option to choose times for your emails to go off, but now you have an option to select never send emails. And by choosing never send emails, the emails won't go out at all. Okay, so you could also choose to send emails immediately or to send emails only during the following days and times. You will then choose which days you'd like to use, and you will then choose which times on those particular days. Okay, so that is a new little change that was made as well to BarnOwl in the server management console. And now the next and final change that we're going to have a look at is also a general one, and it's reflected in BarnOwl Eclipse. BarnOwl Eclipse is the web version of BarnOwl. So you will need to log on to BarnOwl Eclipse in order to have a look at this one. Okay, you will usually get a link from your administrator in order for you to access your BarnOwl Eclipse. Okay, so this is my login. I'm just going to click on sign in. If you need a password or a username, your administrator would usually provide you with those details as well. Okay, so we're now going to have a look at where we will find this change in BarnOwl Eclipse. And what this new change is it's basically a BarnOwl email view. So you now have an option to view your emails in BarnOwl. So this is your BarnOwl Eclipse landing page. You will see your different menu items over here on the side if you need to access your risk management. There's your objectives, your risk, your contributing factors. You can see them by unit or the actual libraries. All of that is over there. You've then also got your key indicators, your action plans, your incidents, votings, and DIY. Over here is basically like a custom part of BarnOwl where you can save pages as shortcuts. So as you can see, I've shortcutted my control library so I can access it without having to look for it on the system side of things. Okay, that's just a little bit of a brief overview. But if you do need more information with regards to BarnOwl, we do have a video as well that runs through the different aspects of BarnOwl and will just explain the different menus and the different items if you do make use of BarnOwl Eclipse and you're not sure how it works or anything. You will be able to get that from us as well. Okay, so this particular change that we're having a look at now was made in version 10.2, and you can access it by going to DIY on your menu, and from DIY going to BarnOwl emails. Okay, so once you've done that, you will then be able to see your BarnOwl email view appear over there. And this is what the library or the register would look like. So this new addition allows you to view all of your BarnOwl emails, to add BarnOwl emails to a queue to resend them, or to remove your BarnOwl emails from a queue in order to cancel them. Okay, so this will display basically all of your emails from BarnOwl. Okay, you will be able to see them all there. And when you've clicked on the actions icon over here, which is highlighted in orange because it's already selected, if I select this view, this one will appear in orange. So I am on actions at the moment. When you've selected actions, you will then be able to select different items within your library in order to add it to the email queue, to resend, or to remove it from the email queue. Okay, so if I select this email, for example, I could choose this one, or I could select multiple ones by clicking on the box on the top there, but I've just chosen this one. I can then say add the selected to email queue in order to resend this particular email. Okay, you will then see it gives me a message telling me that it's been added to the queue successfully, and it then tells me there that it's pending. Okay, I could also choose one, and I could say that I want to remove it from the email queue. It tells me it's being removed, and it will tell me that it's now been successfully removed from the email queue. That one is no longer an option. It's been canceled, and it won't be sent. Okay, so that's the options that you have under action. Then under the view, under this view over here, when you click on this view, you can customize your view. So you could clear filters. You could make use of filters. All right. I will show you as well how we can find filters just now in 2 seconds. You can wrap all of your text. So I could either choose to wrap my text or to unwrap my text. Okay. You can also reset your items. You could export your view that you have over here of your register. You could export it to Excel, or you could export it to PDF, and then you could shortcut this to add to my BarnOwl. So like I mentioned earlier, this is basically a shortcut of different pages for easy access, for quick access. You just go to my BarnOwl instead of having to search for everything. You can basically add your library to my BarnOwl as a shortcut so that you can then access it easily. You would just click to add to my BarnOwl. It already puts it over there for you, and you would just say you want to add BarnOwl emails to the page, and then you would click on save and close. Okay, it will now add this to you, add this to your my BarnOwl section for you, so that it's basically a shortcut. Okay, so that is the different options that you have under this view. And then you've got favorite view, which basically works the same as your favorite view for your libraries. You can customize this by changing it, moving it around, adding filters or anything. And then you would just click on new, and you would make this a favorite. Okay, so that you have this saved as your favorite view. You then have an option to make it public, or to untick the public box so that it's only viewable to you, and then you would click on save and close. So now you've favorited this as an item with that particular view, and you have it as a favorite view. Okay. The different way, like I said, I will show you how you can filter. Okay, you can use the three dots that you have over here by these different columns to basically view different things. It's sort of like a custom menu. So by clicking on the three dots, I can filter this particular column, which is my email column. I would then choose to say that it contains, does not contain, starts with, ends with, is empty, or any criteria I'd like over there. I would then type in the particular term. I could choose to add another filter to it over there, and then I would click on filter, and it would then filter it in this way. So if I look at my status, for example, I could choose to filter it by saying that it should contain sent only, and it would then only show me those items. Okay, so other options that you have under this particular menu is you can sort any of your columns by ascending or descending. You can also go to the columns tab, and you can then choose to remove certain columns from your particular view. Okay, so if I didn't want to see the created date, I would just click on that, and the created date is no longer displayed there. Okay, or I could choose to add items or to remove them from here. Then there's the filter that we had a look at, and then you've also got your lock or unlock, which is basically similar to a freezing kind of freezing pane or freezing the column. You could use that to lock or unlock a particular column. And then you've got your wrap, which is also basically what we have over there, to wrap the text in that particular column that you have over there. Okay, so that is basically it for the changes that were made to the BarnOwl email, and that's where you can find it as well. So yeah, it's really cool. It's a really nice feature because you can resend emails, and you can add them to be resent or to delete it. You can have a look at an email that was sent to check whether it was actually sent and it went out or not. But obviously, like with most of the items in BarnOwl, it is permissions driven. So everybody won't be able to view all emails or resend all emails. It depends a lot on your permissions and what you have access to in BarnOwl. Okay, so those are the major changes made in version 10 to version 10.3. I have added links to all of these items in the presentation, which I will make available to you as well. Okay, I have added, we have looked at changes made in 10.1.0 and 10.1.1. That's the redesigned audit procedure results capture. And then the changes made in 10.3, controls linked only to contributing factors are now available in audit. Changes made in 10.2, BarnOwl Eclipse, new BarnOwl email view, which we just had a look at. And then the server management console, which is the ability to turn off all BarnOwl emails. So I will provide you with this presentation as well, with links to additional information on these, sort of like our manual, our online manual as well. I will provide you with information to that so that you can access that as well. Okay, so that will be made available to you. Okay, so now it's important to know that we are always available to assist you in any way possible. We're going to look at the different ways in which you can obtain help with BarnOwl in order to avoid you feeling stressed out or anxious. There are far too many things to worry about these days, and BarnOwl should not be one of them, and that's why we're here to help you. Okay, so I've listed over here a few things which will help you access additional information or be a bit of a refresher on some of the items that we went through today. All right, I will also, like I said, make the particular presentation, the video, available to you as well if you would like to view it again or run through anything again. I will also provide you with some links. Some of the links that will be included is what's new in BarnOwl, the overview of the BarnOwl interface, introduction to BarnOwl, to internal audit, viewing the BarnOwl email view, internal audit procedures capture, and then also a link to the BarnOwl help. All right. So you can find help from BarnOwl in many different ways. You can find assistance via our online help manual, and you simply need to log on to the BarnOwl website and you'll be able to find that. Okay. So by going to the BarnOwl website itself, which is opening up over here. All right, so this is our BarnOwl website. If you haven't been on it yet, it's very, very useful and helpful. It's barnowl.co.za. Any new upcoming events like the spotlight session, which we're having right now and which we've had in the past, you'll be able to find under the Media Center Events tab. That's where you will see it. You will also see other upcoming events, such as the Integrated BCM and Risk Explained on the 30th of July and the Protection of Personal Information Act on the 27th of August. So all of those are listed in the upcoming events. You can find information on those. Those are usually our free spotlight sessions. And then for any upcoming training, you will find that under the training tab. And to find help with our BarnOwl online help, you could just go to support, because we are supporting you. From there, you will go to documentation, because this is our help document that you will be trying to access. So you'll click on documentation, and right on the top, you will see BarnOwl help. When you click on BarnOwl help, it basically takes you to our online manual. This manual is very useful because you can search any item in it. So for example, if you would like to have a look at audit procedures, you would just type it in over there and it would show you all the different items available for audit procedures. Capturing an audit procedure, you would click on it and it basically takes you through all the steps, shows you exactly where to find everything with screenshots and very useful information. So it's very easy to use. You could also use the contents on the side to go to Internal Audit. From there, you would then select which item you're looking for, audit planning, creating project plans, and you would basically just click on it and it would take you to the relevant items that you need information on. Okay, so that is very helpful. Then you can access the help manual by pressing F1 or clicking F1 from your BarnOwl Rich app. You should also have a BarnOwl champion or a main BarnOwl user at your company, which you can contact for help. He or she would usually then contact us if they are unable to assist, or if it seems like a bug or they're having some sort of an issue that they can't help with, then they will contact us. Okay, so your BarnOwl champion, or you, if you don't have a BarnOwl champion, or if you are the BarnOwl champion, can contact our support on support@barnowl.co.za. Okay, and then another way that we are able to help you is with our remote training sessions. Okay, so if there's anything that you're struggling with or you require training on, we are successfully carrying out specialized remote training sessions. This allows you to take part from the office, from home, or anywhere with an internet connection. You're more than welcome to contact us for additional information or for a quote. We've just concluded our remote generic training sessions, which we had for internal audit, risk management, compliance, and BarnOwl Lite. So we will be having our next set of our generic training sessions around about the end of September. As soon as we have finalized dates for those, we'll put them up on the website. We are, however, still carrying out remote customer-specific training sessions, which you can contact us about for a quote or more information on those. Okay, so our remote training sessions prove to be more convenient and cost efficient than the usual standard training sessions because you have a lot of flexibility. You have the convenience of taking part in these from your home or your office space, which limits time wastage in traffic and expenditure for travel, especially if you're located in another country or another province. It's also a lot safer when taking the current pandemic into consideration. It caters fully to the new work from home environment. Customer-specific remote training sessions allow you the freedom to have the course content tailored to meet your specific needs, depending on which aspects of the particular module you'd like to focus on. So this can be based on your usage of BarnOwl within your organization, as well as any areas where you or your colleagues may be struggling. Client-specific training sessions are also booked at your own convenience, and you have the option to be trained on either a copy of your own database or on our generic ABC database. Okay, so that is it. That's the help, and that's the different ways that we can help you. And those are the new changes that BarnOwl has gone through. Besides the constantly upgrading and bettering everything as we go along, those are the main changes. So I don't know if there are any additional questions or any further questions that you may have. I know that Jurgens has been replying to the questions as well that have come up on the chat. So thanks a lot for that, Jurgens. Are there any other questions or any other additional questions that you need addressed?
Sorry, Jay, just one thing to mention. In the new audit procedures, you also have a copy and paste function that has been introduced. It's not very obvious to see, but you can copy and paste from audit procedures into Excel and backwards and back again.
Yes. So that is as well, in addition, on the audit procedures results capture as well. Yes. Okay. Is there anything else that you want to add, or that anyone else wants to add or comment or question? Okay, I don't see anything else coming up in the chat, but we are available as well via email. You can email me directly, or you can email Jurgens. You can also email support, and we'll be more than happy to answer any additional questions that you may have or that you need more information on. Okay, and I will send you those the documents that I have mentioned during this as well, with the links and with the videos and everything. I will provide you with that information as well. So thank you for attending our internal audit spotlight session. I do hope that you found it helpful. Please do make contact with us if you do need any assistance or any information. We're always more than happy to help. Keep safe and keep warm. Thanks. Bye-bye. Hello.